Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, I have already discussed about that template inheritance. So how can inheritance your template, also how can added that bootstrap into the Django project, and also here I use some of the bootstrap navbar, right? So we did that work on particular that area. So now in this video, I'm going to discuss about the template filters. Like here, if you want to display some of the text with the ID, so here I think you already know about it. If you want to display it, then you have to do, if you go to that view, and into the view, if you want to display that with the diction, with that ID, you can defining it, right? So better I show you again. I just simply remove it. So now in our index, so that our index function, into the index function area, I define as a diction, right? So with this diction, if you want to pass some of the data, so like here I define one of the ID name as a sample. Okay, sample underscore test. Okay, I just simply define sample underscore text. And now here I want to define some of the text name. So like I just simply define one of the text name as a I am a sample text. Okay, so this type of one of the text I want to define. So here I have already diction it in our index page, that means index HTML page. I just simply pass it with this context. So now if you want to display this ID, then what exactly you have to do? You have to simply display it with this simple text. That is our first tab, that is our index HTML. Go to our template first tab, and that is our index HTML, right? So here if you want to display it, like in particular h1 tag, here I want to display, so do the double curly bracket, and then you have to simply define your simple text. So now if you click as a save all, first of all I want to check it, everything is okay. Now I just refresh it. Now you can see it's now showing our this ID text as a I am a simple text. So now if you want to manipulate this text, if you want to formatted this text, then you can also defining it with one of the building template filters. Okay, so with this template filter, you can manipulate it. So how can do that work? I will show you. For doing this, like that is actually our key, right? So I have defined this key as a sample text. So here from our view, from to this position, I just simply pass our this text, that means this key ID as a simple text. So here I just simply defining it. So now I want to formatting it. So if you want to format it with the filter, with the template filter, so that is actually by default. So if you want to use it, then you have to define with the after this ID, you have to define as a pipe, that means a pipeline. And after that pipeline, like here I define one of the filter key as a upper. Okay, I just simply define one of the filter key as a upper. So now if you click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, now you can see it's automatically become changed, and every letter is now become upper cases. And also if you want to use another template filter as a lower, then you can also defining it. Then here you have to define, make the things as a lower. Okay, I just simply define as a lower, save all, refresh it, and now you can see every text is now become lower cases. And also they have some of the filter which is actually add some of the argument, like I show you. Like here after this, they have also one of the filter as add. So after this, here if you want to define some of the argument, like here I define one of the argument as a 8. Okay, so automatically it will be add our this 8 with our this text. Like here if you go to our view, here that is our keyword key, into this key ID. Here right now I want to define some of the 8 value, okay, or the 10 value. So here I define of the 10 value. Automatically this filter will be add our this 10 value. Okay, so it will be add the 10 and then plus our 8. That means it will be add our extra 8 with our this simple text ID. Okay, now I show you, like if you click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, now you can see it's now showing as 18. That means it's actually added our this text. So here from here I pass as a one of the argument as a 10, and automatically it's add after the 10 as a 8. Automatically it's now showing as 18. Perfect. I hope you can well understand about it. And also here you can use that multiple filters. So they have a lot of the things into the Django documentation. It's pretty much basic things. So right now here I want to define that things as again as a text. Okay, that is actually the text. And now I want to added another filter. Like here they have also another filter is a cap fast. That means the cap I just simply define as a fast. Okay, so with this cap fast you can actually capitalize your fast letter. Click as a save all, and now refresh it. And now here you can see our first letter will be as a capital. Okay, so here if you put as a like here I want to make the things as a small letter as a I. Click as a save all. But here in our filter area I define that as a cap fast. That means it should be as a fast as a capital letter. Click as a refresh. Now you can see our first letter is become capital. Okay friends, and also they have the another filter as a cut. Like here from to this our text, from to this text, if you want to remove all that M, if you all want to remove all that E, like right now I want to remove our M. Okay, so here I want to remove M. So if you want to remove it, then you can also do it. They have also another filter as a cut. So into this cut area you have to define that your argument I want to remove that M. Okay, that means the M letter will be automatically removed. Like here I just click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, now you can see M is totally gone from here. I hope you can well understand about it. So that is actually our cart. That is our cart filter. With this you can pass that argument. So that is our argument as a M. So M will be cut from our main keyword. Okay, that means the keyword ID. And also if you want to display the date format, then you can also defining it, but here you cannot actually define the date directly to the text. So here you have to get these things from your database. So if you go to our database, into the database I have already inserted some of the data in our, that is our musician. Into the musician they have some of the all the data, like that is our musician, and here you can see that is actually the Jack Ma. So now if you open it, so that is actually our musician. So into the musician they have no date format. Maybe into the album I have defined some of the date format. Yeah, now you can see I have defined some of the date format as a release date. So that is actually the date format. So now if you want to get this date format, so that is actually the ID as a one ID, right? So now what to do, and to define that as a one ID. So first of all we have to get it on here. So right now I just simply remove everything. And first of all here we have to define our database class name as album, right? So into the album I want to take that objects. So I just simply define as objects, and the get objects, which one I want to take our PK with our one ID data. So right now they have this data name as a one, that means the one ID data. So I want to define our PK as a one. That means our this one ID. So I just simply define this one ID on here. So now I want to display our this field name. So in our album, into the album here I have defined our field name as a release date. Like if you go to our models, into the model here you can say define that our field name as a release date, right? So that is actually our database field name. So now in our index here I want to display it. So after this text, okay, so after this here I want to define our this release date as a release date. So now if you click as a save all, and now if you refresh it, yeah, now you can see it's now showing our this release date as a May, that's at 28 as a 2020. So now here if you want to change that date format, if you want to display it with using the filter, then you can also defining it. That means after this you have to define the pipeline, and then also they have the filter as a date. So into the date here they have also some of the instruction. So first of all if you want to show that all the date, then you have to define that with the capital D. Okay, and after that I just simply define as a comma. So comma is not important, so that means after that date as a Saturday or the Sunday, it should be display the date name, and then it should be added that comma, and then I want to define our date, and then space, the month, the capital, and the year, define as a year. Okay, so that is actually the format. So that is one of the Django format. Here I defined for this our filter. So now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, so now I just simply save all. Now I want to change that format, click as a refresh. Yeah, you can see now first of all it's showing as a Thursday, and after that Thursday that is actually the comma. So that is the comma I have used on here. Okay, So that is actually the comma, and then our date is visible as a 28, then the month, and then the year. So for the reasons here, I define as a date and that month and then the year. So here I'm using all the default that Django filter, right? That means the Django all that filter. So some of the time you may need some of the different filter for your specific your project. So if you want to create some of the custom filter, how can create that custom filter in our next video? I will show you that things with the live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.